It started on a quiet evening, the kind of evening where the world slows down and the silence in the house speaks louder than any words. My husband was away on a business trip, which was nothing new. He traveled a lot, and over the years I had grown used to the emptiness that filled the rooms when he was gone. But that night something felt different, something unspoken hung in the air as I stood by the kitchen sink washing dishes and thinking about how life had slowly turned into routine, how love had turned into habit, and how the man I had once adored now felt more like a roommate than a partner. I heard the front door open and close gently. I dried my hands and turned around to see my stepson walking in. He had just turned 22. A grown man by every standard, tall, confident, and with a quiet charm that made people feel instantly at ease. He smiled at me, that warm, boyish smile that always reminded me of the early days when he first came to live with us after his mother passed away. Back then, I tried to be more than a stepmother. I tried to be someone he could trust, someone he could talk to, and over the years we developed a bond that was deeper than most people could understand. He walked into the kitchen, grabbed a bottle of water from the fridge, and leaned casually against the counter. There was something in his eyes that night, something that wasn't there before, a kind of tension, a kind of curiosity. He watched me quietly for a moment, then said, "You look tired." "You okay?" I nodded, smiled, that polite smile that hides everything a woman doesn't want to say, and replied, "Just one of those long days." He stepped closer, placed the bottle on the counter, and said, "You've been doing a lot lately, holding this whole house together while Dad's always gone. I hope you know how much I appreciate you." His voice was sincere, filled with an honesty that hit me deep. I hadn't heard those words from anyone in a long time, and it caught me off guard. I looked up at him, and our eyes locked, and for a brief second there was silence, the kind of silence that carries weight, that says things no one is ready to admit. I felt my heart beat a little faster, but I shook it off, told myself I was just reading into it, because I was lonely, because I was tired, because I was human. But the evening didn't end there. He stayed in the kitchen, talked about his college classes, his plans, his dreams, and I listened like I always did. But this time something shifted. I saw him not just as my stepson, not just as the boy I helped raise, but as a man who saw me as more than just a stepmother, a man who was looking at me with eyes that spoke of something unsaid, something unspoken, something forbidden. As the night wore on, we sat in the living room. The lights dimmed, the room filled with the soft hum of the television, neither of us really watching it. He sat close, too close, and I could feel the warmth of his presence. I could feel the tension in the air building, like a storm that had been waiting for the right moment to break. He looked at me and said, "Do you ever get lonely?" And for a second, I didn't know how to respond, because yes, I did. I had for years, but no one ever asked, no one ever noticed. I nodded, slowly, not trusting myself to speak. He reached out, touched my hand gently, and said, "I think about you sometimes more than I should." And my heart stopped.